Hello and welcome to episode 331 of the Player One podcast for Monday, February 25th, 2013. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, is my co-host, a man who once had a case of giant enemy crabs, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Once?
Yes.
He's just seething for that Weird Al thing.
I know. I bet the real Wario 64 thinks Weird Al's great.
Probably not.
Just say it.
I am guessing that his level of humor is a bit more sophisticated than that.
And joining us from Canada is a man who is lamenting the fact that we did not see Gran Turismo 6 at the PlayStation 4 unveiling.
No, I'm not.
Secretly lamenting the fact. And joining us from the great state
You didn't say what that guy's name is.
Oh, it's Greg Stewart.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Nobody
Thanks.
even really
Yeah,
cares.
whatever.
Greg Stewart. Oh, and joining us from the great state of Utah is a guy who is already crafting 3D models for Media Molecule's Marionette Move game, Mr. Mike Phillips.
That is fucking true. You would not believe the amazing phallus that I have already constructed out of mashed potatoes. It's going to be great.
It's going to dance around
Very excited.
sexily.
Yep. Uh-oh.
All right. That wasn't me. That wasn't from my end.
Yep.
That must have been a Stewart baby.
It's got to be
All
Stewart,
right,
baby.
so let's talk about the big news from last week. Let's just,
What was
talk
that?
about this.
Metal Gear Solid Rising?
No,
Oh, yeah,
Super,
that came out.
Super House of Dead Ninjas coming out for Steam.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, I didn't play it.
Finally.
I did.
Adult Swim's very first PC game on Steam.
Yeah.
Which does not mean politically correct in this context.
No.
Why's that?
Well, because
PC?
It's Adult
It means
Swim.
personal computer.
Personal.
And it's Adult Swim.
Keep up with the jokes, CJ.
Okay. All right.
Let me Weird Alify that for you so you understand.
Yeah, please do. I'm not following unless you do a polka about it. So yeah, of course I have it, and I've been
Yes.
playing it.
Yeah.
But,
I have it too.
I also gave you guys codes, so you all have it.
My PC is busted. So.
The only one who has played this super hardcore, pure gameplay tour de force is Mr. Mike Phillips.
That's right. And it's a real shame because this strikes me as a very filthy bald game.
Well, let's get that Kickstarter going to buy me a new PC.
I can't imagine that it would take much to run this game. I think it just, under system requirements, it just says a system, and that's it.
A system. That's right.
Well, I will just say this: if people donate money to buy me a computer,
No.
it will
no.
it will
All right,
allow
we're done,
me
we're
to
done
play
with that.
games
Anyway, Super House
to
of
discuss
Dead
on the
Ninjas.
podcast. That's what it's about, right? You buy me a
Super-
computer, so I have games to talk about.
Super House of Dead Ninjas is so awesome, it'll run on your broken computer. Mind blown! All right.
Absolutely.
That's
It's
not
pretty fun.
true.
It's
Yeah?
one of those kind of fast-paced, super fast action 2D platformers.
Yes.
And it
Procedurally
gets-
generated levels.
Yep.
Well, it's one big level. You're descending down a castle tower and fighting bosses along the way, and each time you play is different.
Okay.
You can
pretty
choose
cool.
different weapons and unlock new weapons and power-ups. It's got some awesome achievements in there. It's
Cool
great. I love-
filter to show it as like an interlaced screen if you want to give it that old
Oh,
school CRT
nice.
effect, which is kind of fun.
That's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we did the original House of Dead Ninjas. It was sort of like an 8-bit homage to action games of that era.
Yeah.
And Super House of Dead Ninjas is an homage to the 16-bit action game era. So
I'm holding off for Super Ninja 64.
Yeah.
that's coming next.
Yeah.
Next.
The-
with all the hype and all the plugs going out for this, I think I'll play this at the same time I'm playing Aliens Marines there.
Colonial Marines.
Yeah,
Colonial
Colonial
Marines.
Marines.
Yeah. All right, but let's get to the real big news.
CJ?
Wait, let me
CJ?
ask something first about Super House of
Okay.
Dead Ninjas.
Sure.
No native controller support. It recommends that you go to
Joy
like
to
a
key.
Joy to Key. Have you tried
Yeah.
doing that?
Yes.
How does it work? Is it good?
How does it work?
No, not like step by step, but I mean,
You mean, does it work well?
Yes. I wasn't.
Yes, it
coming
works
to you
well.
for tech support, for Christ's sake.
Well, let's see. Once you download the executable, you double-click it.
Run config.sys and check your autoexec bat file.
It does work pretty well, but I should tell you that we're doing an update this week for native controller support. So you just
very
hold
nice.
I'm not going to
another
do that
few
then.
days.
Because
that's why I
it's-
held off on playing it.
Natively.
It's easy enough to play with the PC keyboard, but I would sure like
Yeah.
to play it with a control pad down here in my basement.
Yeah,
so,
it's much
on my big
better
TV.
with a control pad, and yeah, we are adding it native support this week. So there you go.
It is a good game. Nifty music.
Before we move on, CJ.
Yes.
To Metal Gear.
Metal
Slide
Gear.
slide your camera left and right.
Oh
Slide
yeah.
the camera
Oh,
left.
we got to
and
see
right.
the box report.
Yep.
Oh, it's pretty clear on that side.
I don't know. It's
It's getting there.
he
It's
seems
getting there.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
he seems to be
There's
sort of
progress.
carefully moving it slowly.
Yeah.
Back and
No,
forth.
I'm waiting for the feed to catch up.
I think
Just out of frame.
that's so the iMac
Latency.
doesn't knock over the Coke Zero he's drinking.
That's true. That's true too. No, it's getting there. A little
all the Mountain
couple
Dew
fewer
bottles
boxes.
full of urine that
I
he
did,
has.
so I-
Podcast brought to you by Mountain Dew Code Red.
I opened up my
Yes.
Virtual Boy box and realized that I had the receipt in
Realized
there
it's
as
called
well.
Virtual Boy, and then you put it back away.
Hey,
Yeah.
how much did you pay?
$30, and
Nice.
then $5 for 5 games. $5 each.
Bad. Which 5 games?
Nestor's Funky Bowling, Red Alarm, Mario Clash.
Nice.
Tellero Boxing?
Yeah, I have Tellero Boxing. Yeah.
Galactic Pinball.
No.
Oh, interesting.
And there was one other, I don't remember what.
Huh.
But 5 games.
Not bad.
Yeah.
3D
Yeah.
Tetris.
No.
Waterworld.
No.
Water World.
Yeah. So.
Jack Brothers.
Mm-mm.
Jack Brothers
Haven't you
worth
named
some
them?
money these days. There's
Yeah.
the Virtual League Baseball.
Nope,
There's,
don't got that. You know what else is going to be worth some money in
What's
about
that?
9 months?
Metal Gear
Or-
Solid Revengeance.
Why would we talk about that game? Why do we want to talk about that game?
That's
really wanna
the-
talk about
Said big news.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And what's bigger than the latest big Metal Gear adventure? Starring.
You know what the big news?
I
you know
didn't.
what the big news
I didn't
about that
see
is?
Metal Gear anywhere on this outline. It's nowhere to be found.
Well, I'll
Right.
tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because I pre-ordered mine from
Uh-oh.
Shop of the Future.
Oh, that's
And
right.
they
That was in
didn't
your.
send
Yeah, it was in your E3 bundle, right?
Yeah, but here's the best part. So a friend of mine did the same pre-order. So it was $40. We paid for it. They
Was it friend of the
had-
show Saito?
Yes, they are actually shipping us the limited editions for $40.
Really?
Nice.
The $150 versions.
How'd that
After
happen?
they stepped on them.
I don't know how that happened, but no, Saito already got his, so he's got the cool little plasma light thing that my
think it's
wife's
called
never
a-
going to let me
I think
turn
it's-
on in the
I think it's
house.
called a lamp.
Yeah.
Convince her that it's called the sex strobe and see if that works.
That'd be much
Yeah.
better.
All right.
I'm going to get my kids to say that.
All
All right.
So
So,
it'll be on the outline next week.
Prepare for some Raiden.
Mine is on the way.
so for some
Oh,
Fruit
very nice.
Ninja
My
action.
sex strobe is on the way. It's in the mail.
Mm.
All right. So, PlayStation 4
What about it?
What about it?
I want one.
announced this week.
Wait, crap. Was that last week they did that announce?
You missed it. Damn it.
Well. Was it for the PS4 then? Is that what they announced?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's
cool.
right.
Can you
So-
use the Vita as a second screen?
You can.
Yes, you can.
Cool.
Did you not follow any of the news, Phil?
No,
I
I
don't know if
haven't.
he's just being Phil or if he really doesn't know what he's talking
That's right.
That's just
Is
Phil
there-
being Phil.
Is there some sort of like Wii Music game coming out that
about.
Mike
Yeah,
would be very excited
Media
about?
Media Molecule is making a little bit
No,
of music.
that was a tech demo. It
yeah.
wasn't a game.
Little big
Like
big
most
Wii
of their
music?
games. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice. Good dig. That was
Take
good.
that, you Weird Al hating.
It is amazing. I'm a very even-tempered man, but you'd be amazed how quickly
you guys
I can
make
go
me
from
feel
0 to
rage.
fuck you.
So yeah, let's go through some of the announcements here, and then we can
Okay.
talk
I'm
about
Jonathan Blow, and explosions are shit.
I don't know
Yes.
how I could follow those explosions.
Oh my god, I just wanted to throttle that guy the second.
Here's Mist.
Here's Mist, exactly. Yeah.
Missed. Here's
I'm
a puzzle
really excited
game.
for that game. I think it looks fun.
It does look
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I thought it looked fun too when it was called
I just
Mist.
hated how it was bookended by Jonathan Blow coming out and trying to sort of shit all over everything that had come before,
Yeah.
and then what's his name from Sony coming back out and saying, "Who else would put an indie developer on the stage after they'd shown all those AAA games?"
Yeah.
No one else is going to waste time with this crap.
I mean, Microsoft canceled their XNA project, so you really think they're going to bring an indie developer up on stage when they announce the 720? They're much more likely to bring ESPN up on the stage,
Yes.
honestly.
It was cool that they did it. It was uncool that they had to come out and tell us, "Oh, by the way, we just did that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to do that though, considering what CJ just said. The way Xbox, when Microsoft has treated indies and XNA, I think it's kind of cool that they're coming out and saying, yeah, we're going to let indies self-publish, and I don't know.
Oh,
It
for
sounds
sure.
really cool to me.
Yeah, definitely cool, for sure. Not going to see that at Microsoft. So, in this system unveiling, Sony brought out Mark Cerny, who is a veteran
Which is
game
awesome.
developer. Worked at Atari, did Marble Madness, worked on
Marble
Sonic the
Madness, dude.
Hedgehog. He was part of the Sega Technical Institute, and he is the chief...
Ratchet and Clank,
Ratchet and Clank,
Ratchet and
Jack and
Clank.
Daxter. Yep.
The Sony stuff.
Sony stuff in general. He is the lead system architect for
Yes.
the PlayStation 4, and he came out and gave some technical details on it. First of all, it is based on a
What is going on over there?
serious.
My wife's holding my daughter's face like a bowling ball. I'm not sure what she's doing.
That doesn't sound right. First of all, this is based on a supercharged PC architecture, so it's an x86 CPU.
Really, we're going to
Yeah.
get into tech specs now?
CPU,
With-
CJ, stands for computers.
Pretending to
correct.
be unicorns, yeah.
Like robots.
Yeah. I wish I
It's
was
got
quicker
8
on the draw there with something funny, but
gigabytes of unified memory. So, I mean, the important thing here is that it's based on PC architecture, which I think is a really interesting move. Surely that's going to make PC ports of your favorite games easy to make PlayStation 4 ports as well. Right?
Yeah.
It's
I
not
mean,
going to
reading a
be
script.
as... What?
Wow,
Are you
all
reading
three
a
of us started
script?
talking there.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Are you?
Am I reading a script? No.
It sounds like you're reading a script.
I'm not reading a
Are
script.
you working for Mark Cerny?
Loosen up, man.
I'm not reading a script.
I like Mark Cerny. Can
Yeah,
I
Mark
say
Cerny's
that?
great.
You know what? He sold me on. I mean, I was already going to be high on the PS4 anyway, I think, but I mean, him coming out and us hearing that he's the lead architect and then the stuff that he started talking about, that was the part of that presentation actually that sold me on the system. Like
Yeah.
when he was done, I was ready to get a PS4.
The stuff like the instant on, the whole background processing of updates, being able to suspend and resume, like that stuff is pretty big.
That and also just what kind of something that you touched on, like the PC style architecture, and this felt like Sony from the early '90s. The stuff he was saying.
The early 90s. You mean the early 2000s?
No, when they were preparing to relaunch the first PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
It sounded very developer friendly in general, and it's kind of like we understand now what gamers want. It was such a complete turnaround from the PS3 launch, where it was like people will go out and get a second job to buy a PS3, and it's a PlayStation, so we know everyone has to buy one. Like we all saw how well that went for them, but like this time around, it very much feels like we understand kind of what's important to gamers now. We understand what's important to our developers and our developer partners, and we're trying to make something that they can use. So it felt like they did a total turnaround. It felt very much like PS1 era Sony,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Not PS3 era.
PS3. We own the world.
Which
So-
I rewatched the PS3 unveiling.
Oh,
I
God.
had forgotten.
Why would you
how,
do that to yourself?
I had forgotten how absolutely agonizing that press
Oh.
conference is. Just
Oh.
completely the worst way to unveil new hardware. You have Ken Kutaragi up there talking for 40 minutes about system architecture stuff that nobody gives a shit about,
Right.
and you don't show a game until an hour in.
Mhm.
It's just, it was fucking ridiculous. Just
Did
awful.
you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing, yeah.
Jeez, was your Silas at the cleaners, or why would you do that? That's
I just wanted to have something to compare this announcement to.
Huh.
well,
But it would be
but
difficult
just
to beat.
so that
to beat that.
so they'd be better by any standard, basically.
Yes, yes, exactly.
But that's just it. Like, I mean, if this announcement, they really went a long time without showing any games either, except for the one that Cerny's
did.
working on. But
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
care. Like the way they packaged and presented what their system is going to be and what they're aiming for was interesting and
Well,
exciting.
it seems that Cerny has a real knack
Knack.
for hardware
Yes.
launch presentations. Hmm?
You know,
Except
every
this is
time
the-
you do that,
this is the
Phil, with
first
your
one.
son in the frame.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for that kid.
Oh, he loves it.
This is the first time he's gotten up on stage and to be a figurehead like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
which
now-
Which I guess explains why almost nobody knows who he is, even though he's basically
Yeah.
like Kojima Miyamoto level game
Oh,
guru.
yeah.
Yeah. But that was another interesting thing about this presentation. You know, they didn't bring EA up. They brought Activision up at the end, but it was very developer focused. They had that video where they showed like a couple of Ubisoft people. They had David Cage. They had Double Fine.
They brought Square Enix up there to fucking shit the bed.
Oh my god.
Squeenix
only
up there to
Square
shit the
Enix
bed.
can do.
Showing an old demo. Why
Yeah.
the hell?
And then the big announcement.
Still better
Big
than
dramatic reveal. We are making Final
Blizzard.
Fantasy. Please look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the DualShock 4.
Okay.
New controller for the PlayStation 4. It's very much a DualShock, but it has removed the select and start. There's now a touchpad in the middle.
So we can't start our games anymore.
It seems
Looks
like
like I'll be getting the next Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll say tap touchscreen to start or something like that. They'll find a way.
Yeah.
And the buttons on it now are share on the
Yes.
left side and options on the right.
Hmm.
And we have some new analog sticks and new triggers, and they've enhanced the rumble features as well.
And they've incorporated a move controller.
And yes, it's got a light bar at
Oh,
the
yeah.
back.
Leads to me, again, getting pissed off that everybody wants me to put more shit in front of my television.
Well, that's a
Another
that's a
frickin'
good
camera
question. Do you
set
think
up.
do you think that camera is going to be included with the system, or do you
Yeah.
think it's going to
Of
be?
course.
You think
Yeah.
it will be?
If you have
Absolutely.
if you have the move stuff incorporated into the controller, they will
Why
have
waste
Keep
that?
keep
Yeah.
in mind, this is Sony, who does not or was originally not packing in a memory card with the Vita, and it was required for UDD.
Yeah, but the thing is that these controllers will be packed in with the system, and they're putting the money into making sure they incorporate the move functionality into the controller. So why would you split your market there?
Yeah,
And-
I would be willing to bet more that the system will come with a camera than I would be willing to bet that the system will launch with 8 gigabytes of RAM.
Mm.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
think that is more
I-
likely to change than the camera not being included.
well, because the Vita was originally supposed to be like have a lot of memory, and then they cut that in half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least they cut it in half. They may have cut it more. But when it was the NGP, it was a slightly different system.
Yeah.
Neo Geo Pocket?
Yep.
Next generation
Wish.
portable.
No, it'll come with the
Uh,
camera, I think. And
Yeah.
hopefully that thing is small. Like in pictures, it looks to be not much bigger than the controller, but the
Right.
perspective on the pictures is a little bit off. And if that's the case, then I'm fine with it because, like the Wii strip, that thing is tiny.
See,
PlayStation Eye is pretty small. The Kinect is the one that is too damn big and moves
in the picture
around
it
and
also
is a
looks
robot.
very much like a prototype, though.
It does.
The fact that the
Yeah.
cable was coming off the side of it made it look like a prototype.
Yeah, it does.
That's true.
The controller looks sweet, though. I think the controller looks awesome.
Definitely. And the controller has a headphone jack, and apparently the system is going to come with a and a speaker, and a mono earpiece will apparently come with it. So.
But they just can't get that joystick placement right. God damn it. That's too bad. Offset sticks or GTFO. Am I right, fellas?
What do you mean offset sticks? What are you talking about?
You're talking about an Xbox 360 controller.
Everyone wanted them to move the left stick so it would be just like the Xbox controller.
Oh,
which is
F that shit.
I don't understand at all.
Yeah. The DualShock in general has been a great controller. Like, I love the DualShock. This actually looks like a good...
I'm just glad they didn't come out with some of that boomerang bullshit.
The boomerang, yeah, exactly. We all remember the boomerang. What they could have done... Yep. And clearly Ken Kutaragi is no longer in charge of what they're doing this way things. And to sort of demonstrate they showed off the controller, and then Mark Cerny showed us his game, Knack. Knack.
Yep.
Which looks like a platformer.
I think it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard it already derided as the system's, malice
Cameo.
or whatever kind of shitty
or
action
Cameo
platformer launches. With
I gotta say,
Cameo was good though.
The art
Cameo was good.
I actually like Cameo too.
Yeah, the art style looked awesome because it has that kind of Tezuka.
Exactly.
Yeah. The whole thing, even the creation of this, creature or robot to help in a war.
Yes,
it's very Tezuka.
But when they first showed the robot running around, there was definitely a bit of a Cameo vibe happening for some reason. I don't know why exactly.
The art style is interesting in kind of the same way in the new Infamous game too, where it's so much more technologically advanced and capable of more graphics, but what they're doing with it is making things look a little bit more handmade. Which I think is kind of cool. Like, it takes a certain amount of graphics power to be able to make something look more kind of natural or handmade, which I think
I did see a lot of comments online that the game, that Knack does not look, quote, next gen enough, which I don't know what the hell, and that seemed to be some of the comments about the conference in general, is that they were showing us games that are prettier versions of what we're already playing, and somehow that's disappointing
when a system launches.
Exactly. Somehow that's disappointing when, what were you expecting?
Well, in a way, there's the leap doesn't seem as obvious from seeing early games, I think, because the last generation we had a pretty major leap in that you're going from systems that we first saw playing on standard CRT style screens to HD screens.
Right.
So, there was a really significant leap there for most people anyway. This one, it's not as easy to see, I think, because everything looks great, but, if you want to cherry pick some of the best games on the current gen, you're not going to find stuff that looks like what we saw at that conference, but you're going to find some stuff that looks pretty friggin' good.
And there has to be a point where we start reaching diminishing returns, and maybe this is it. And the other thing is about seeing familiar titles rolled out at a system launch, besides the fact that it's sort of what you would expect at a system launch. I heard people saying that they hope whatever Naughty Dog shows for this thing is not another Uncharted game, and I kind of think, well, I totally want to see new ideas from Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
I also kind of want to see what Uncharted would look like on this new system. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they are going to say, hey, The Last of Us is coming out on PS3, and it's also coming out on PS4, then I might actually wait on that one.
I would be surprised if they do that because of that.
That studio would do.
I'm thinking also at the beginning we may see a lot of PC ports just because it's using the x86 architecture, and it'll be easy for Ubisoft to bring Assassin's Creed 3 or Far Cry 3 to the system.
Is this confirmation? Is this confirmation that Super House of Dead Ninjas 2 will be coming to PS4?
Exclusive.
You heard it here first, folks.
They're indie friendly. You could totally
they
do
are
it.
They are indie friendly.
Why weren't you up on stage, CJ?
Yeah.
I don't know. What the hell?
That would have been awesome.
Explosions. Telling everyone how...
That could have been you talking about tear gas.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
That was such a terrible opening.
Some of those presenters were awful.
Am I weird for thinking that guy looked like a grown-up beaver? Like that dude totally looked like Jerry Mathers.
As in Jerry Mathers
did.
as the beaver?
Yes.
Just like the
He had like the
dude
most
from
worried.
Ocean.
He had the most worried expression on his face.
Well, tear gas, dude.
I got
That shit
tear
ain't no
gas
fucking
by the
matter.
cops.
Into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still crying about it.
The evolution guy kind of freaked me out. I mean, on one hand, as a racing gamer, a car guy, I want the people making my racing games to be that passionate. On the other hand, dude standing up on the stage being that passionate about cars is a little creepy.
Yeah, it's true. And anyway, they stole the name from that Atari Jaguar game. They just reversed the
Club Drive.
Trevor McFur?
That was.
Hey, but we didn't talk about some of the other system features that they announced, like streaming video. The whole basically everything that the share button does, and that includes being able to cut together any clips from the last 15 minutes of gameplay, and stream what game you're playing live on Ustream.
Yeah.
And being able to allow your friends to take over the controls and play for you if you're stuck. at a
I
particular
will
point.
earn any
weird.
platinum award for you for just $99.95. Let
Cool.
that be known,
Little Big
folks.
Planet 2. Your $100 is in the mail. I'm gonna watch you play the entire thing on Ustream.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Does it support custom soundtracks?
I don't know. Their
Well,
soundtrack
I'm-
is awesome. I don't know why you'd want to
Well,
change it.
Because I'm loading up a bunch of Weird Al MP3s.
So part of this is based around the Gaikai purchase that Sony made.
Yes.
Which also, another thing they noted is that if you buy something on the PlayStation Network store, you'll be able to start playing it immediately.
Yeah, I like that.
That was one of your predictions, wasn't it, CJ?
Yeah. Which
like
is
that idea.
effing fantastic. I love
Yes,
that.
it is.
Love that. One thing that was a little bit weird was the predictive bullet point that
Yeah.
Mark Cerny
Oh.
talked about. Based on your previous purchases, they'll be able to start the download for you.
Yeah, I don't
Which-
like.
I
Yeah,
don't know
when he
if I
starts
like
talking
that.
about pushing stuff to your system because
Hopefully you can
you're
turn
gonna
that
love
off.
it, that's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
I don't want my
Just like-
system
But
deciding.
they've done that before. Sony's
Well, they
done
did that now
before.
with PlayStation Plus, right? They downloaded
Yeah.
the God of
Yeah.
War Ascension beta for me, and I mean, thank God
But-
I don't have metered internet or anything like that. But
Yeah, you can turn that off though right now.
Yeah.
Turn it off,
I turned it off on mine after it started downloading a bunch of crap that I.
But
didn't
that's the
want,
thing.
so-
Like
Yeah.
they didn't even warn us that that's something that was going to happen.
right.
I remember. I think it was
So-
Echo Chrome or something like that. Some other game just appeared on my list at one point.
Yeah.
yeah, that Project Eve or something, whatever
Yeah.
thing,
forget what it's
free to play thing that they were doing.
And that's the only thing
Yeah.
that vaguely concerns me about any of the sharing stuff is I want it to be nice and easy for me to opt out of it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there should be a feature where you could just go in and randomly take control of a stranger's game without them
knowing.
proving it. Yeah. Just immediately.
Yeah, this
take
person
over.
left it on pause. Let me just.
That's going to
go
be
in.
From Software is definitely going to put that in their next Demon Souls game for sure.
Yeah, I do wonder though. So, how are they going to protect against spoilers, or are they going to do that? Are they going to block people from watching certain parts of the game? You think, or
Well,
I
if
think you
you're
watch at your own risk if
streaming
you're
a game
tuning
and
in.
Yeah, if you're choosing to watch it,
Yeah.
why would you protect people from spoilers?
well, like let's say you're playing Ratchet and Clank 6, and you're at the final boss, and I see that you're
And
playing
your
Ratchet and Clank.
PlayStation 4
Clank.
reaches out, pins you to the couch, and forces your eyes open.
No, but I see that you're playing that, and it asks me if I want to watch your video stream. But you're in a spoiler. You're watching the ending or fighting the final boss. Like I don't.
US
necessarily
out
want
of
to
my
see that.
PS4. No. No control.
I
Doesn't
think
matter.
that's a chance you take.
Well, I
the-
wonder
the-
too because
the spoiler
on the
avoidance system is you saying no.
okay on the Vita, they prevent you from taking screenshots at certain points, and that's developer decided.
Right.
So just thinking aloud about that. Anyway,
Call Cerny. Get Cerny on the phone right
Yep,
now.
get them on the
Yeah.
blower.
Get
So
Dave Perry on the phone.
they're also going to have
He made us one
a.
too, by the way.
They're also going to have a smartphone app and tablet app for you to watch folks
And Vita,
streaming
right?
games. You'll be able to buy stuff on there. So
Custom skateboards that people have made,
skateboards,
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Velocity Girl storefront.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about the next big bit of this announcement. No backwards compatibility for PS3.
Oh yeah.
Not surprising.
Since
kind of
it is
drag.
an x86 architecture, they're not including the very expensive cell processor, which would
Right.
have allowed backwards compatibility.
You know what's
So-
weird, and this is completely irrational on my part.
Uh-huh.
Moving cables out of the way because Finn's getting feisty here. You know, I don't really care about the lack of disk-based backwards compatibility, but for some reason, it really bums me out that my PSN purchases aren't going to
Yeah.
carry over.
Right.
Well, they did
You know?
say later on, I think in a separate interview, that they were going to work to allow backwards compatibility through Gaikai streaming.
Oh, really?
They
Yeah.
said something about that where they imagine a future where you'll be able to play PS1, 2, 3, and mobile.
Oh, yeah,
games
yeah.
on,
They mentioned that, but
They did
What they
mention
mean
that.
by that is we imagine a future where people will forget
Yeah.
that this is a priority, and we can't wait for that day. Because that's
Yeah.
how it always goes. Backwards compatibility is a huge issue for me at a system launch for about 6 months, something like that,
Yeah.
until I have 2 or 3 really good games on the system, and then I sort of it goes by the wayside.
Yep. I thought it was very cute, by the way, when they brought out David Perry, and his intro was, "You will know
Earthworm
David
Jim."
Perry as the guy behind Gaikai." And, do we
No,
really?
I won't.
Right.
I know him as the guy behind all those Genesis Disney games.
Yeah,
But then they also
20 years ago.
they also mentioned Aladdin and Earthworm Jim.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that was
That was
after
Cerny.
that was Cerny going, "Oh, by the way, Earthworm Jim was really great."
It was actually a pretty slick way to deal with the fact that nobody knows who Dave Perry is from Gaikai.
Yeah.
But then all the oldsters realize who he is.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed. All right.
the stuff that he was saying sounded really exciting, and I hope a lot of it comes to fruition. But I really feel like the backwards compatibility thing will be yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they did say that they
half-assed or it won't happen at all.
They did say that they would be rolling that stuff out in phases, and
Yeah.
Lip service.
It's never going to happen.
never going to get to phase 3 where everything's compatible. But
Agreed.
so the next thing they showed off was the PlayStation Vita
Oh, yes.
remote play.
Yep.
Sounds awesome.
That the Vita is the ultimate companion device for PlayStation 4.
Yes.
And they showed Mark Cerny came out again playing Knack on the Vita.
Oh, yes. That's pretty
So,
cool.
To prove that it's real, this is a thing that you can really do.
I am down with that.
Yeah,
So-
I hope it works well.
Yeah, and I guess they're encouraging all PS4 developers to enable remote play, which is great. Like if it works and if they can make it happen like they say they can, then great.
Yeah, I wonder how challenging it is to incorporate that kind of thing because, not every Wii U developer is doing that for the Wii U tablet.
off-screen.
So
Right, right.
Yeah.
is it tougher to implement than we think, or what's the deal with that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
But I was thinking of what situation would that be great for? So at the end of March we have PAX East and then Game Developers Conference right after, and BioShock Infinite comes out that week.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not going to be home to
Oh.
experience BioShock Infinite. Wouldn't it have been awesome if through my PS Vita, if I could purchase BioShock Infinite over the PlayStation Network, start playing it on the Vita on the road?
Yeah.
I like the
That'd be
sound
awesome.
of your future, CJ.
I love that. I love that future. I want that to happen. I want somebody to make that happen. Hopefully,
How-
That would be
Is
awesome.
that so? But wait a minute, because this is where I get a little confused. Because I've heard that something like that said before, but my understanding was that this is going to work kind of like the Wii U controller,
That it's
where I'm
only
going to have a limited
only on your
range. Yeah, on your
I don't
personal
think they
network
said.
as
They didn't
opposed
say.
to over the internet, because that doesn't sound like it would actually work.
Well, remote play works over the internet now, right?
Does it?
I've never tried.
I've only ever tried it on my local network, so.
I don't know. That's how
you
great
might be
remote
wrong,
play has
CJ.
been on the PlayStation 3.
But I still like the sound of your future, CJ.
Yeah.
Good.
Even if it's a make-believe
Good.
future.
Even if it is.
Lollipops and yeah.
What was
Rainbows.
once science fiction is now science fact.
All right, so shall we get into the demos?
Surely.
Demos.
The amazing demos.
Yes, what demos did we have?
Yes.
Killzone.
Looks
Shadowfall?
like Killzone. It's going to play pretty mediocre and look really great.
Yeah.
Those games are alright.
I mean,
Yep,
I
they're
thought it
alright.
looked really cool. The demo was obviously intensely scripted, whereas
And
if
had a
you
lot of bald
walked-
men in it.
Yeah, if you walked off the path, things would have unraveled.
It was like watching our show.
I was gonna say they used the same head model for like probably I don't know 90% of the male characters you saw in that demo. I don't know why I noticed it. Maybe I was just could relate.
You're
but
sensitive to that.
I am.
Looked pretty
It's
awesome,
nice
though,
to see
huh?
us getting work.
They look good.
Yes.
It did
I mean,
look
I
good.
have no interest in Killzone, but I thought it looked cool.
No, but
I'll
it's the
play
kind
that.
of thing that you show off when you launch your system, so it
Yeah.
makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
And here's an exclusive shooter that's not Call of Duty or whatever, so...
Right, and those games
is
have always
really
been
all they have.
showpieces.
Yeah. All right, Drive Club.
Yeah.
Greg?
This is Greg's
Really
area of
generic.
expertise.
It looks generic, but you know what? Like, as he was talking about the social stuff,
Oh, Finn said he's leaving.
I really love the
Sad
social
with
stuff
Drive
in Forza Horizon, and if this uses the network like they say that it will, where you can form a club, you can do async races. Like this is something I might actually be interested in playing right here.
Yeah, you know,
So,
here's my problem. I'm worried about that the game is going to hinge on community support.
Yeah.
And I think about something like Blur, where the entire game hinged on community support. And if it's not
And
there,
the game was awesome and died.
exactly.
The
if it's
game
not
was
there,
awesome.
it falls apart, and the game's just not worth anything. Or like Test Drive Unlimited or something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's been done before, and it's a cool idea, but I'm not sold on it based on that demo. The other thing is that they spent way too much time showing those really major close-ups of the car models, and honestly, they did not translate very well.
I didn't think so either. I don't know.
I feel like we probably, and this might be a little bit much, but you probably could have done photo mode on like Forza 4 or Gran Turismo 5
Yeah.
and gotten results that were pretty similar.
I
Now
don't think
that's
so.
a lot of smoke and mirrors, and I'm guessing that
Sure.
what we saw from Drive Club was actual in-game models, but they didn't hold up to that kind of scrutiny.
Yeah.
you know,
The other thing
and-
that I think is kind of a bummer is I really love Evolution's games,
Yeah.
and this feels like such a weird departure for them. Like it straddles the line between sim and arcade a little too much from what they showed.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, the last MotorStorm game they did is probably one of my favorite
And
races of this
my
generation.
secret fantasy was that they were going to be handed the Jet Moto license for the PS4, and that
Yeah.
would have been pretty awesome.
I didn't expect another MotorStorm because, as far as I know, that franchise is dead.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but yeah, that was, I don't know. That demo did nothing for me. It was kind of that moment where I thought they might be talking about Gran Turismo, and I was a mixture of excitement and bewilderment. Why in God's name would they talk about a new Gran Turismo when it's probably 4 years off?
Yeah.
Right.
But then when they really explained what was going on, it's like, that sounds really awesome on paper, and I'm really concerned that it's not a viable thing.
Yep.
Well, you have an interesting point with the community stuff. Like this, if this is a launch game, it's going to be tough to get enough people playing that. I mean, we
Definitely.
kind of
Yeah,
saw that
sure.
on the Wii U launch, like when people were laughing about 700 people playing Call of Duty on a
Mhm.
busy night. Like
Hmm.
that's going to be difficult. So I wonder if what they will do in those situations, and the Blizzard Diablo 3 reveal mentioned this a little bit later on, where they might launch Drive Club on PS3 and 4 and allow you to play cross-platform online, just in order to get the community numbers up a little
That
bit.
would help. It's just that the thing is that it's got to be really compelling, and
Yeah.
there have
here's-
been really compelling community racing games in the past 5 years that did not survive.
Here's the other thing. This system is going to be really fucking expensive. You know, and if you expect people to buy like a $500 or $600 system, and who knows if it'll be that this time around, and then have like a thriving community for a racing game, I think you're mistaken. I think it's going to be really, really hard.
Yeah, I think it needs to be an element of it, and I think you got to look back at like the Forza stuff. Really, I think they do a good job of it because there are car clubs.
Yeah.
And you can do stuff like that. And maybe it's not as robust as something like what was being described by Evolution. But the thing is that stuff is wrapped in a single-player experience as well. So if I go out and spend $60 on it and the community aspect doesn't work out, I've still got a really big game to play with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, like looking at Blur, that didn't have, which was a crying shame because it was a really good game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it killed Bizarre Studios. So, creation
Among other
did.
things.
All right, infamous Second Son.
Greatest intro ever.
Let's strike fear into the hearts of everybody. And I went to a demonstration and I got tear gassed by the cops.
He was
All right.
He was about 15 seconds away from talking about 9/11 there, wasn't
I
it?
seriously thought he was introducing Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was about to
Felt
happen.
similar for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, infamous Second Son has a new protagonist, not Cole anymore, and also takes place in a real city this time, Seattle.
Yep.
So that's sort of a departure
Starbucks. Yeah.
for the series. Yeah, Space Needle in the trailer there. I'm excited for this game because I like the Infamous games and I like Sucker Punch. So
Ditto.
I'll
I thought it looked neat. I like the little images of him sort of bursting into whatever that is, droplets
Embers
of blood
or
and
something?
rematerializing
Flames.
or
Yeah,
something.
flames.
It reminds me of, I don't know if you like Infamous, so I don't know if you played Festival of Blood, but
I love Festival of Blood.
yeah,
where
you can kind of turn into the
tornado.
bats and yeah,
And the bats, yeah.
yep, really cool. So I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah, I did as
I would
well.
like to see gameplay footage, but
Yeah,
take what you can get.
it was
Yeah.
nice looking. It didn't blow me away, but the fact that it's Sucker Punch and it's Infamous means I'm going to play it. So
Right.
Yeah, you know, they said that it was working in engine, like what we were seeing was real, quote unquote. And I think the fact that they're basing this whole system on x86, like, who knows how long Sucker Punch has been developing this thing? Like, this could be real, you know? It didn't necessarily look like a bullshot video.
No, I don't think it was BS. I think I'm sure it was all in engine. It was just not from playable angles. Like, it didn't
Right.
show gameplay. So
Yeah,
I
you're right.
would like to see what it looks like when you're playing it, basically.
Yeah, and people said the same about Knack, that there was only really one gameplay section in the trailer. Although during the presentation they showed Cerny playing it on the Vita, and you get a little bit of gameplay there. And a couple of the social screens actually showed a thumbnail of Knack video that was running in the window.
Yeah.
So it's not like they didn't show any gameplay from Knack. They did show some. It just
Right.
wasn't in the trailer.
No.
All right, so then Jonathan Blow gets on stage.
Yep.
I love Jonathan Blow. I think Jonathan Blow is cool.
Yep.
I didn't used
Yeah.
to, but I do.
Yeah, and this too is like a huge departure. Like, I would not have expected Sony or really any of the companies to bring up an indie developer
Based on the last couple
system
years of
at the
PSN?
system unveil though. Like this is
the last couple years of the PSN, I would expect Sony more than any other console manufacturer.
well, I
that's
might
a good
expect
move.
them to bring, you know, that game company up or something like that. But,
Here's the company we allegedly bankrupted.
Yeah, really.
Talk about your next
Seems like a
amazing-
bad strategy.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
yeah, but instead they
they're
brought
going
up
to show the
Jonathan Blow.
next guy they're going to bankrupt.
I mean, if you're going to bring someone up, I guess Jonathan Blow is a good example because he was
Yeah.
pretty much a Microsoft, like his game was a Microsoft game pretty much.
Right.
And then he's been very vocal about how much he hates them, right?
And you can't bring Phil Fish up there because he might kill himself on stage. And, you know,
You might also talk about how crap Japan is at developing
Yep.
games. So you don't want to do that.
I wish
think
I'd
it's a
never
good
watched
move.
any game in the movie.
yeah. I think it's a good move not only because of what Microsoft did, but it also sort of puts them at least in the same thought pattern as people when they talk about PC games and Steam and
For sure.
buttons on there, and the iOS for that matter.
Indeed.
Yes.
All right, so, The Witness looks pretty good.
Looks like Myst.
I don't know. Looks like Myst.
I'm excited for it. I've been excited for it for a
Too many
while.
shots of those little square puzzles you have to deal with.
Yeah. I'll wait for the review. I'll wait for the Metacritic. All right, and then of course you have David Cage from Quantic
Dream.
Yeah,
Quantic Dream.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Another
during this
insufferable
point-
asshole that I love.
Boring as shit.
during Jonathan Blow's stuff, and then during David Cage and the Squeenix stuff, I was making dinner. I just walked away from the stream.
Probably a good
I was like,
move.
well, I'll catch up
seemed
on
like-
this part later.
It seemed like, the Jonathan Blow stuff actually served a purpose.
Yeah.
The Quantic Dream stuff just killed all the momentum that press conference had. I
Yeah.
gotta say, it just to come up there and wax philosophical about.
But the faces.
Yeah, exactly. The development.
Yeah,
of
remember when
film
we had a
and-
3D dinosaur on the PS1? Here's the 3D dinosaur for the
This is
PS4.
the same bullshit they've been doing every system generation since the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dreamcast had the face demo. The PS2
Yeah, the
had
Shenmue
the
demo,
faces
yeah.
demo.
Yeah.
Give me a break. We know, yes, you can push more polygons. That's great. But show me something that's going to get me excited, not this old man's face.
Well, yeah, at this point, it's more about how the game looks in context than seeing a single
Right.
character's face move.
I mean, the dinosaur demo was awesome, but nothing ever looked like that in game.
Right.
No.
And I don't know if you guys have seen any video or anything of Crysis 3 running, but the human faces in Crysis 3 are pretty stunning and actually in a lot of ways more convincing than even what David Cage showed. I mean, they're zoomed way up on him so you can see all sorts of little subtle nuances, but the way that those faces behave in some current games, I think, again, maybe makes that the point of diminishing returns again, where you can't just trot that stuff out and have it be as impressive anymore.
That was the part where I started looking at the clock.
Yeah.
Well, you were looking for a long time, mister, because that
I
was a
know.
long-ass show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, David Cage showed nothing off.
No.
It was just, hey, the face.
See, but then
Anyway.
you go to Media Molecule.
Yes.
They're doing essentially the same thing, just tech demos and then playing around. And it was actually kind of interesting and charming. And
The marionette demo
yeah,
that they had
and the
going.
sculpting stuff, really.
You can picture them putting that into a game in some sort of weird, creative way rather than
Right.
trying to make a movie out of it like David Cage
Exactly.
will probably do.
Right. It'll be in Wonderbook 2. Electric
Yeah, I played
Boogaloo.
Wonderbook this week.
Did
I
you?
saw that.
Yeah.
Did you get
I
that
saw
platinum?
you did. You
No,
picked
but
that
I'm
up for
working on it.
$14?
$10.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Really?
2 hours to platinum that thing, evidently. I'll
The
be
Book of
disappointed if you
Spells?
don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have thoughts on it. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So, and then after Media Molecule did their song and dance, literally,
Can we say how awesome that was, by the way?
That was
it
awesome.
looked cool. It definitely looked cool. It's not a game, but
Really?
whatever.
No. But
It was Wii Music, right?
it wasn't
It was Wii
necessarily Wii music, but I mean, it was like
But it
the
looked
stuff with the
gorgeous.
sculpting. You can extrapolate to them doing something creative and weird with that. Like you do a platformer where to
Floaty jumps.
get over some
Mhm.
obstacles, you have to
Well-
actually sculpt something to help you through or something.
Yeah,
No, I don't
it
want
seems
that.
almost like
I
an
don't want that,
evolution
no.
of draw
Draw
drawn
something.
not draw something. The PS or the DS games and the Wii game.
Oh, the Drawn to Life.
Drawn to Life.
Oh, right.
Scribblenauts or
Scribblenauts, that's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say. I mean,
Could
it
be
seems
cool.
like it could be an evolution of that, right?
Yeah, they'll do something cool with it. I have confidence.
But either way, the presentation was nice, the tech was interesting, and it was very charming, and it made me smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Andrew House came back and showed a nice slide of all the developers that are working on PS4 games.
Mhm.
It all kind of looks like one would expect. There's all the big
Or
names
signed
and
up to work on PS4 games.
signed up, yeah. And then he welcomed Yoshinori Ono from
Ono!
Capcom, who
I love that guy.
spent the time talking about panty raids with the Panta Ray engine with a game called Deep Down.
CJ's so proud of himself. It's just like, he's got
This is a joke
CJ's
that you're
contented
hearing
grin.
on every single podcast this week. So yeah, Deep Down. Anyone have any doubt that this thing is Dragon's Dogma, whatever? Except for the part at the end where Blanca sends Ono an email.
I may be the only one. I still have a doubt that it's a game. I mean, I think it'll be a game someday. It didn't feel like a game to me. It looked really
No, it looked
really
like a
cool.
cinema.
Yeah.
It looked cool though, for sure.
It looked very cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't feel like a game, though.
No, unless they make a Dragon's Dogma out of it or something.
Yeah.
All right, then Squeenix came on the stage and crafted up some
And
more.
we've seen that before,
Shit in
so
the bed.
next.
But you know, it was I had forgotten that they did this at the PS3 reveal. They did a tech demo of Final Fantasy VII, the intro of Final Fantasy
Oh, that's
VII.
right.
I had forgotten that. Like that, what a fucking tease that was. Like,
Well, isn't that
this
the reason
game,
why to this day people haven't stopped talking about the Final Fantasy VII HD remake?
exactly this game you love. Oh, that we're by the way not doing a real game of. We're gonna go ahead and do the opening of it in PS3 visuals. Like, you bastards.
And then this video that they showed at this presentation, did they not release that video last year?
Yeah, they
Yes.
did.
It's an old video.
Old.
Same
Yeah.
video.
And then
Same
to,
video.
and then to come out and say, "Oh, we're gonna make a Final Fantasy game. See you at E3." Give me a break.
Yeah. Yeah, and that video didn't really excite me at all. But, you know, Final Fantasy, you know, F that.
Whatevs.
Okay.
All right. So then Ubisoft takes the stage to show off Watch Dogs.
That game looks incredible
Yeah.
to me.
That does look great.
The screen
I'm
tearing
really
was a shame.
interested in,
But,
yeah. I'm interested in...
They needed to
Seeing
upgrade their
and hearing
PC
more.
yeah.
that they were showing it on.
But the game itself, like the gameplay looks fantastic.
It does.
Really
yeah, it looks
excited.
pretty excellent. For sure.
Yes.
Blizzard doing Diablo 3 on PlayStation 3 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah, who cares?
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, then Activision wrapping it up with Destiny coming to PlayStation 4 as if there was any doubt. And they once again showed pretty much nothing but concept art. And
Did we ever talk about Destiny?
we did
Destiny
a little
reveal?
bit.
Did we? Okay.
A little bit last week, I
Halo,
think.
the multiplayer shooter.
Well, I'm just so glad that Bungie was able to free themselves of those chains that Microsoft had on them, forcing them to do nothing but Halo games all the time. So that they could-
I'm so glad that their PR person dressed them all in the same jeans and sport coats to come out on stage.
Well, it was good that they brought, four of them to show nothing of the game as well.
There's a tweet, I don't know who tweeted it afterward, where it's like, those guys look like people who have no idea what to do with their hands. They look so uncomfortable standing there.
Oh no, we lost Phil.
Why are you saying, oh no?
How'd that happen? Oh, okay, well, we'll leave him out.
Does he really have
Alright.
anything to say about a Bungie shooter?
No,
Let's be honest.
he doesn't. All right. And that was the end. That was it. The end.
That Blizzard announcement was probably the biggest downer.
there were.
I think that whole section of the press conference was kind of meh.
Yeah.
It sort of landed with a thud a little bit.
Yeah. Big time.
I think they wanted that Destiny stuff to be like a hard-hitting end to the
Yeah.
conference, and it just...
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Was
No,
just
I mean,
kind of there.
You take
Yeah.
you take Watch Dogs out of the second part of this conference, and it's just one sort of disappointment after another.
Yeah. All
I
right,
have
so...
to say, this is not a value judgment in any way. I didn't watch it live because I have to work like most grown-ups, so I was catching all of the videos after the fact, and I literally fell asleep watching the Killzone footage. I think it looks good, but it put me to sleep.
Man, that thing started off so slow, too. It's like, oh, you're the new recruit, and here's, some stairs for you to walk down very slowly.
Yeah, sometimes people don't understand how to create demos properly, I think. And
Yeah.
that is a good example.
I mean, I get the whole we got to have some build-up before there's an explosion, But man, to show your character walking down some stairs for 30 seconds very slowly, that was a pretty poor beginning to that.
But even though the back half was kind of anticlimactic, overall I thought it was really good, and for like the initial reveal of the thing seems pretty promising and leaves them a whole lot of room to do cool stuff and show games at E3, which I think is probably the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about the fact that they didn't show the system itself?
I don't care.
I would have loved to. I don't care either.
I would have loved to have seen it.
It's not like, I mean, the reason that it was ridiculous for Nintendo not to show the system when they introduced the Wii U is because, as a result, everybody thought the controller was the new system.
Right.
And there's not really a danger of that here, I don't think. Unless people are really confused about the Vita. Seems unlikely.
Right. But, I mean, it's going to be a box that you put in front of your TV and then hopefully barely even touch.
Yeah,
hopefully
I don't think
barely notice. I'm really tired of consoles looking like toys.
It's pretty amazing how people latched onto that, though, and some people even referred to the PS4 as vaporware because the plastic
you know what
case
it was
does not
though.
Exist.
The other thing about it is like a lot of the mainstream press picked that up and harped on it, and a lot of the mainstream tech press did as well. Like we sat through this 2-hour presentation and they didn't even show us the system.
Like none of the other shit matters. I just want to see the shiny black box.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell?
In a way, like tech press, though, they're more used to being able to actually see the product, right? I mean, because the reveal is the product.
Well, I mean, it's been 6.5 to 7 or 8 years since we've had a console unveiling, and I think people have forgotten what that usually
how the shit
entails.
Goes down.
Like Bill Gates standing in front of a huge silver X. And all that crap.
But the thing is when he did that, you've got a photo. You've got an interesting photo to run with your story, right? Which
you don't in this
conference.
That's true.
You got a guy that looks an awful lot like Jerry Mathers talking about tear gas. I don't know. Seems like I'd run that about 4 columns wide.
Death of print, and now we know why.
So
I
you
think
brought
part
up
of
the
it
question.
too. I think part of it too is like on a phone reveal or like when Apple has a new version of iOS, it's different because you're not working with developers that need to take 16 months, 18 months at the very least to make a game for this thing. So you have to announce it in enough advance time that that all of that can get going.
So you said you think this thing's going to be expensive.
I think it's going to be expensive. I think it's going to be $5.99, $6.99.
Fuck me, are you serious?
I think if that's true, Sony's as crazy as you are.
Here's the thing: I am mentally preparing myself for this thing to be $5.99, and then if it's not, then great. But
maybe
it'll be $4.99, $5.99.
I'm saying 500, maybe a little low over 500. Yeah. Like $529.
I mean, keep in mind what this has. Like, it's a high-end PC spec. It has all of this like souped-up hardware and 8 gigabytes of pretty expensive RAM. It's not going to be cheap.
Yeah, it's not going to be $200.
It's not going to. It's not going to be $300.
More expensive than a Wii U.
It's not going to be exactly. It's going to be more expensive than a Wii U, and I think I'm not sure if people have that expectation. Like, I think it's been so long since we've had a system launch. People don't remember that at launch, this shit's expensive. And
so what will you pay if they do $5.99, $6.99? Will you shell out 3DO money for this thing?
Will I shell out $500 for this thing?
No,
yes, I think
he didn't ask that.
$500. $5.99 is actually very much closer to $600.
Yeah. Would I shell out $600 for this? I think I probably would.
Okay, you said $5.99 and $6.99. Would you shell out $6.99?
Well, $6.99. It depends what games are available at launch. If Infamous, Infamous
$600. If you get to that price with tax and buying yourself a game, you're dropping $1,000.
Yeah.
Store, and I ain't doing that.
I like how $600 is okay, even if there are no games available. It's only until we hit. It's only when we hit the $700 when it's like, well, maybe if there's a game I want to play.
For $600, it can be an under TV decoration.
I mean, how
I
much?
don't know
How
what
much
else
do you think this thing is going to be? You
Johnson
think it's going to?
household.
You think it's going to be $400?
I do.
No.
I'm with Seward.
There's no way it's going to be $400.
I'm with Seward with 5. Yeah,
Yeah.
they would be crazy
Maybe-
to go higher than that.
Maybe a 2-tier thing again might happen, but
Yeah, they might do 2-tier.
but I'd
I think
say
CJ's
That's why I thought they're never going to include that camera with it because that'll also add to the price.
CJ's problem is that he's been buying Apple merchandise for so long that he is convinced that everything has to be just ungodly
if
expensive.
this was a
Comprehension of
PC,
money is
if
not the
this
same
was
thing.
an all-in-one PC in a box, how much would it be?
You could probably do something pretty similar for $500.
There you go. Yeah, so $500.
But that's if
But you
I mean
said
that's
700.
buying it
Yeah.
from someone who is that's buying it from someone who is
I
not
misspoke.
Yeah,
that's
Greg,
buying it from someone who
$500
is
bucks.
both-
500 to 600.
and that's if you're buying it from someone who is both not willing to sell it at a loss and is
Yeah.
not doing their damnedest to
Right.
establish a new platform.
yeah.
Right.
And that's it. I think Sony's still going to do the whole loss leader thing. That this thing's going to be sold.
They have to if it's that
A low
expensive.
Yeah,
Either that or there's a version that is $200 and subsidized with the PlayStation Plus subscription.
Which I would love. Man, if they gave me that option, I'm there.
Well, the other rumor is that they're going to start charging for PlayStation Plus. I mean, online play.
Sure, PlayStation
That-
Plus.
yeah. it'll
Online
just
play.
It will be folded into PlayStation Plus, I'm sure.
Really?
Probably.
Do you think that's going to happen? Do you
Yeah.
think we're not going to have that? That's kind of sad.
It sucks, but I think that they will do it.
But if they keep PlayStation Plus as awesome as it has been, I really don't care.
Yeah, I don't either because I would continue to pay for PlayStation Plus anyway.
sure.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. But it sucks
Yeah,
for
me
people
too.
who wanted to just be able to play online for free, which you absolutely should be able to do. It's absurd to have to pay to play online.
Not according to
When you're-
Microsoft.
When you're the one that's basically handling the connection peer-to-peer. It's just stupid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
So,
Finn cry.
so Microsoft now is going to respond to this, obviously.
April?
The rumor is in April we're going to see
Yeah.
something.
When's E3? June?
Yeah.
E3 is June, yeah.
I don't know exactly what Microsoft is going to do, but I know for sure at some point in their reveal, they are going to say the following phrase. Xbox Live Arcade has been wildly popular, and we're really proud of all of the offerings we've been able to bring to gamers on that service. And of course, on the new Xbox, you'll be able to play all your Xbox Live Arcade games previously purchased on the Xbox 360.
You think they will? You think they
It
will?
would be smart to do it.
I
Yeah.
think that would be very
And probably Don Matrick will say it because he likes to save all of the super big fuck yous for himself.
Yeah, that's an easy one for them, right?
Yeah.
I think that's easily the card they have to play against this. If they announce backwards compatibility and with digital purchases, I mean, that's huge. That's
Yep.
really huge.
Yeah, if there's some way for me to play Sneak King on my next Xbox, that's gonna be
That is
there's
huge.
your $6.99.
There's your Megaton.
There's
$6.99
your
exactly.
$6.99 value. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think?
Total contribution to the conversation is that he wants to play Sneak King.
I think they're
the
also
next
going to be
Xbox.
crazy heavy on the services too. I think that they'll
Well,
be
that's
leaner on the games and
Microsoft.
heavy on the services, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
You
really
mean
gonna annoy
you
me.
mean media streaming and
Yes.
movies? You think that?
Yeah.
Yes.
and
Gonna play big into it.
ESPN2 and yeah,
Yep.
Hulu,
Smart Glass.
HBO,
Ugh.
Smart Glass.
Yep.
All
Whose
right.
kid is
Hey,
Man, that's
I think
Finn
that's
is in a
Finn.
pissy mood right now.
why don't we
We're gonna
take a
mute
break
Phil's
at this
track.
point?
Somebody give
Okay.
that kid a taco.
Yeah,
He's.
Or
I think
Tylenol.
he's starting to teethe at this point again.
Well, then he needs a taco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nobody cries when they have a taco.
I
true.
agree.
Why don't we take a quick break, come back and
Okay.
do some tweets?
Let's
Aren't
take
there
a
any
break.
games this week?
No. What games?
All right,
Okay,
All
I'm gonna
right.
go forget what show I'm listening to.
taking a break.
Do it.
But I'm not going to show you because I don't want people to see my damage.
And we're back.
I know Phil did because he's the one that had the wicked case of crabs, according to his
Here.
introduction.
check this out. Here,
In case you forgot, you were listening to Player One Podcast, your number one podcast for PlayStation 4 info and infotainment.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's talk about this IGN 1UP GameSpy
Oh,
UTO
Man.
stuff, which sucks for
We
everyone.
might as well talk
It
about
does.
Book of Spells because it's just as depressing.
Where did you get
Yeah.
Book of Spells for $10?
Either that or Best Buy.
Okay. Is it really bad?
It's actually not bad as a Potter fan.
Okay.
You probably like it, Phil.
Yeah, I'm mildly interested in it because of the Harry Potter connection.
But the thing is, like, here's the problem. And I actually worked at a studio that did Wonderbook stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think
By the
anyone
way,
actually
good
saw
that you're
the light of
talking
day.
while eating. This is
Yeah, I'm
great.
sorry. You started up before I was finished.
Uh,
Anyway, so I mean, I was there for some of the dev stuff that was done on Wonderbook, and
No.
one of the problems that I always had with it, and I still have with it, is that when you're using a book like that, it's very cool to see what it can do, like augmented reality style, graphics on the book and everything like that. But
Right.
you lose perspective. Like the perspective is wrong.
Oh.
You're sitting behind the book's between you and the camera, so when
Right.
you're looking at the book, it's not the same as when you look at the screen. Everything's upside down.
Nah.
So it feels weird. But anyway, it's cool from a Potter fan perspective.
Yeah.
My kids really love it. That the Move controller turns into a wand. It actually looks really awesome.
Right.
And the graphics are really nice, but it's so wordy and so hard to figure out how to control for a 5-year-old.
Right. Right.
So they lost interest in it pretty fast.
Oh,
They were
okay.
they were more frustrated than having any fun.
It still just boggles my mind that they didn't throw the word Hogwarts in the title or
God.
something like that. I mean,
Or Harry Potter.
let's.
they probably
I
couldn't. That'd probably be another $500,000.
I mean,
At least.
I could see them maybe not wanting to use Harry Potter since you don't actually play as Harry Potter in the game or whatever. But so,
Had
you
to have
have
been a licensing thing. Had
There's
to have
not
been.
one mention of him as far as I can tell in there.
right.
either.
But I mean,
It's,
I'm assuming it does mention like Hogwarts somewhere in
Nope.
there, doesn't it?
I
Really?
don't think so.
Oh, maybe it is.
Maybe
was
it does,
somewhere.
and I missed it. But it's very much a lot of that is assumed.
Okay.
You're getting a lot of the history stuff. It's like all the extra little books that came with the actual Harry Potter books.
Right.
Like this is written by, I don't know, make up any Harry Potter universe wizard name.
Yeah.
Like the history of Quidditch and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's cute and it's fun and it's interesting, but it's not a good kids thing.
It's weird.
But again, if you can find it cheap, Phil, I think it would be totally worth it for you.
Okay. Well, if I can find it
And-
for $10,
Yeah.
then
And-
I might take the plunge.
I mean, I'm still going to
There
play
you
with it with my kids, but it'll probably be more me controlling it and
Yeah.
them just watching it. They were way more interested in what they were seeing
Mhm.
but it was getting ruined because they were getting frustrated with what they were being asked to do.
Gotcha.
Right.
Well, you know who's going to have a lot of time to play that game is people who used to work at GameSpy and 1UP.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Tie it right back in.
Wow.
I was wondering when we were going to get back to this.
To be fair, former Nintendo Power editors have plenty of time to play games now as well. So
That's right.
you know what the worst part?
Yeah.
This is the worst part about 1UP and GameSpy
Yeah.
closing is that most of the Nintendo Power editors do not have jobs yet, and that just means that there are more people
More
looking for
competition.
jobs. Yeah. So
Well,
That
this is what
sucks.
happened a few years back too, right? It's just that's when I
Yeah.
stopped trying to use freelance to make a living
yeah,
because the pool just got so big.
exactly. But yeah, so that sucks.
That really does
Yeah.
suck.
You know what? I'm going to be brutally honest and say that I'm kind of stunned that either of those sites lasted as long as they did. which
Yeah.
is not to speak of the quality of them.
No.
I mean, it was clear to me that IGN was just hanging on to those so that they could up their sale price to whoever bought them.
They were
Right.
lines on a ledger somewhere. That's
Yeah,
all they
and
were.
as soon as somebody did, they were going to shut it down. And I guess the Ziff-Davis being the one that buys them and shuts them down
Yeah.
makes it all the worse. I like that the topic in our forum is Ziff-Davis owns 1UP again, and
Yeah.
then that thread title was just so perfect when this news came out that they were shutting everything down as well.
Yeah.
They certainly did own them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. It sucks
Yep.
that the stuff's going away.
And hey, I didn't kill GameSpy.
But you did work there once.
You did work.
Yeah, but still, I
And it
was
won
not
out.
there.
I don't know. I think
I
both
never-
of these add to your
I never-
talent.
I never worked at 1UP.
You worked in the building.
That's enough. That's enough.
There were 1UP logos in the magazines you were working on.
Yeah. Well, by that same logic, IGN should be dying soon too, because I worked in the same office as IGN.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are some sites
Well-
and magazines that you outright murder, and then there are some that you just
okay.
plant a minute,
Association.
slow-growing virus in their colon.
All right, and then of course last week there was the news of Kenji Eno passing away.
Yeah, that's
sad.
Out of nowhere.
Extremely
That
sad
sucked.
and out of nowhere. Yeah, at
Yeah.
the age of 42.
Yep.
Just going to go ahead and note that is my age.
Uh-oh.
I
No,
know.
it's not that old, much older than the rest of us.
Yeah, really isn't.
Man.
So yeah, Kenji Eno, developer of games such as D2, Enemy Zero, which is a
Enemy
fantastic
Zero.
game.
Yeah,
One of my favorites.
truly
Very-
innovative
Yeah,
game. Just really interesting.
yeah.
After hearing the news, I loaded up Enemy on my iPhone for a few
Very
quick
nice.
rounds. Yes.
Yeah.
He did like some super creative stuff, and then didn't he get out of games for a while?
Well,
think-
he started doing some other things, like he made vending machine
Yeah,
games as
that's
well.
what it was.
Yeah, and apparently remodeled Hot Springs. I don't know if
Really?
you ever listened to this week's 8-4 play. They were
Oh,
talking
wow.
about that. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I did not know that. Did not
And
know
speaking
that at
of
all.
1UP, there was a really comprehensive interview with him a while back
Oh, yeah.
on 1UP.com. It was worth
Yeah.
looking up because he's an interesting dude, and he
Yeah,
made some really
super
interesting
interesting.
games.
I
Yeah.
love D. That was one of my favorite games on the 3DO. That was the platform I had it on, and I played that
Yeah.
a hell of a lot.
I did as well.
Yes.
I
Enemy
never
Zero.
played D2.
I didn't either.
T2 was okay.
Yeah.
But like I just loved with Enemy Zero, it seemed like it was built around the limitations of the system he was on because he actually made a game that was a first-person shooter with an invisible enemy.
Yeah.
And
That
he made
seems
it
like a
work.
terrible idea.
It does seem like a terrible idea, and you know it was really good.
Well,
it was
but then
always
after
the
that, he made a game called Real Sound that has
With no
visuals.
Yeah.
Which
Creative.
I've always wanted to play Real Sound. Apparently, the Saturn version is just a blue screen, and then for Dreamcast, they put like nature scene stuff.
Have
Well,
you
Shane-
ever played? You're the iOS guy, CJ.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Papa Sangre on the iPhone?
No, I want to.
That game is really cool. That is a game with no graphics,
no
only
graphics.
sound.
Yeah, I've
And
heard
it's
a lot
really
about
cool.
that.
It's scary as shit, actually.
Yeah, I remember
Play
you
with your
talking
eyes
actually.
closed.
You and Josh talking about that on Fanboys.
Yeah.
I think.
Fanboys.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, where's my promised
Shut
Lunchcast?
It's I don't know.
Where?
It's been recorded, edited, and uploaded. I don't know why it's not up. I don't want to talk
Wait,
about
you
it.
don't control that?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Who does? I'm
Someone
curious.
else.
Someone else.
Wow.
All right,
how
then.
cryptic.
Ken Kutaragi.
Exactly.
Kenji Eno, isn't it? It's Kenji.
Oh,
Ah.
No? Okay.
no. It's on 1UP servers.
You know, just as sad, but not as sad as any of the other stories we just talked about. Rock Band DLC is coming to an end in
The
April.
only person on this podcast that cares.
Yeah.
I am, yeah. I have like 780 some songs, I think, in my library.
As sad as that is one hell of an impressive run. Like I don't know that I
Yes.
would have predicted that they would have been able to sustain
Yeah.
for that long. That's
Considering
pretty
5
amazing.
years of weekly DLC. 5
That's
years.
amazing.
Man, that's
Considering the
crazy.
horrible and complete death that genre died.
Yeah.
The fact that they're
Yeah.
still going.
Yeah.
The fact
I mean,
that
I'm sure they'll make
Harmonix,
it go.
I mean, yeah, they have to be making money, right, in order
Well, yeah.
to continue this long.
But that is a remarkable story of consumer support as well, because I'm sure they're making money. They probably weren't making gobs of money, but they had a whole shitload of dedicated fans who they continue
Bought
to feed
DLC
new
every
content,
week.
which is awesome.
Like me, I bought DLC. Well, not every week, but
Hey, so what's the average price on that, CJ? On a song? Just curious.
like one song is probably 160 Allards.
Oh, Jesus. And you have what? Almost 800?
That's
Well,
$2.
To be fair, like the 800 that I have are a combination of like the exports from Rock Band 1, 2, 3, Green Day.
Okay.
Could buy a couple
so you can-
PlayStation 4s with that money.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but there you go.
That is a bummer.
It is a
Yeah.
bummer that it's ending. Kind of sucks.
And that's
Okay. They must be moving on to something bigger and better.
Yeah.
Than
Yeah.
damn.
Activision bought them, didn't they?
Ziff-Davis
No, but
bought
apparently there was some news a while back where they, I guess, kissed and made up with Activision,
them. Oh yeah.
and I forget which DLC pack it was. There was some pack, maybe it was the Aerosmith pack that came out for Rock Band recently, and you know, Activision had Guitar Hero Aerosmith. So I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know. All right, let's do some tweets.
Okay.
Let's do this one from. Well, this might be from Geek
It's-
Cheaply. I
At
think.
P1 Podcast, if you're trying to look them up, is where
Yeah.
we keep those.
I've got them up right here. I'm pointing
All right.
to my screen
All
right
right.
there. All right. Either Geek Cheaply or Jerkface Kill. I don't know who sent this, but maybe one of them quoted the other. Said, "What does Microsoft have to do to their Xbox Live service to make it better than PS4's?"
PS4's Xbox Live service?
PS4's online service.
I mean, I don't know what either of them have right now, but if we're comparing the platforms currently, they just have to demonstrate more value than they do right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good answer.
Definitely have to show more value. All right. Let's do this one from hacker alias Bador SNK, who says no cell processor equals no backwards compatibility. Will any of you, or would any of you, buy a slightly more costly PS4 SKU if it adds PS3 parts to allow backwards compatibility? No.
Yeah, probably
think I
not.
would.
Probably not. I
Probably
might. I don't
not.
know. Like I said, backwards compatibility is important for me for the first little while, and I used it on my launch PS3. I played Final Fantasy 12 on my PS3, and I was very happy to have it. But I don't know that I would necessarily.
Well, here's the thing about backwards compatibility, and I think you mentioned like it is important for only the first 6 months or so. But that is usually the time in a system's lifespan where you get these like agonizing game droughts. And if the system is going to be $400, $500, $600, whatever dollars, it's not going to be $200.
Apparently, $5.99 and $6.99 is what I've been told.
Yeah.
Two
If
different
it's
models.
going to be $500 or whatever,
$5.99 and $6.99 apparently is what I've been told.
Well, I don't remember
God.
anyone saying $6.99.
all right, I'm just going to edit that part of the podcast. I never said $6.99. I said $4.99 and $5.99. $500 or $600.
It's adorable when CJ says he's going to edit something.
It's true.
I know, it's cute.
It's going to, like, when you've spent that amount of money, it's going to make those initial launch drought, which happens all the time, a little bit more agonizing because you can't even play PS3 games on it. Like,
Yeah,
you can't
I mean,
even
that's why backwards
use the
compatibility is important for the first 6 months, because you ain't got shit else to play.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
ain't got shit else.
for me, stupidly, I never really get rid of my old consoles. So if I want to play PS3 games, I'll probably just plug in my PS3.
That is the smart way to do it if you got the space.
Right.
Through that.
I'll be doing that as well. But yeah, I mean, after the first 6 months, it really doesn't matter. So I would not pay more for.
Why
PS4
pay more?
Exactly.
Why pay $6.99? That's crazy.
That is crazy, Tug. That's 3DO money. You could get Kenji Eno's D for that.
Damn right. All right. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias. Mumbo Jumbo. Aw.
So the reason it's taking a while is because you have to make up the names. I get it. No, I get
That's
it.
right. Well, I'm looking at some of this we already talked about during our PS4 discussion. All right, this one, he asks, what is the most and least exciting thing about the PlayStation 4 so far? Go.
Least exciting is Diablo 3.
Oh, God.
That's pretty
Really? Yeah.
least exciting.
That's pretty low.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the system stuff, I actually am not as jazzed about all sharing stuff as everybody else is. I think it's neat. It's not interesting to me. It reminds me, I dicked around with it for a while on Live, and it was kind of cool. And this is obviously a more robust implementation of that, but it just strikes me as something that I will never use, basically.
Yeah.
For me, probably the most exciting thing is what I said earlier about how I feel like this feels kind of like the Sony that's out to prove something again. Just because of the implications that has as far as third-party support.
Yeah.
Another least exciting has to be that $6.99 price tag, though.
Yeah, that's a shame. Never would have.
Well, we'll see what they announce. Like,
Most
if it's
exciting is-
$6.99, then I may be doing a victory lap.
The most exciting thing is that Media Molecule is making something for it. That's all you need to know.
That's the most
least
exciting.
exciting is that Media Molecule is making something for it. Oh,
They
no,
can
I'm
press it
kidding.
on reclaimed
I'm kidding.
little big karting discs.
Oh, wow.
Nonsensical.
They didn't
hey,
develop
I
that
spent
game.
I spent $10 on Book of Spells. Not on Global Planning karting.
You also referred to yourself as a, quote, Potter fan, which I thought was adorable, and you did it twice.
I know. You can link it to your Pottermore account, Phil.
Greg, you should know that the official name is Potheads.
I feel like I work in an arcade again.
Yeah. You know what? I'm excited about the start downloading and playing at the same time.
That's cool.
Yes, I think that's the thing I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything
there.
about the Gaikai stuff was
Yeah, if all of the Vita integration happens, it's going to be the best
Yeah.
thing ever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
I'm
not
excited.
going to. So
Yeah.
Probably not. No.
I'm hoping we'll see something good come from the
Bastards.
Vita linking ups.
Yep.
Yeah. My least exciting is Diablo 3. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Could not care less.
I finished that game. It's terrible.
That's
Yeah.
a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That is
know,
a shame.
right?
All right, let's do this one from Hacker Alias P.O. Rowe, who says, would you have preferred to see a complete DualShock redesign, or are you happy with what Sony showed?
I'm happy.
Question mark, Philip.
I never wanted them to redesign the DualShock. I like the DualShock controller.
Yeah, me too.
Who's Philip?
I don't know.
I'm seeing two L's there.
Yeah.
That's the heathen way to spell Philip.
I also really like the DualShock, but I think the new one looks terrific. Like, I can't wait to actually hold it. The real publicity shots that they did of it, it looks, the mock-up that leaked looked like a fucking Pelican controller or something. But the final
really
one
did.
looks really solid and looks like it has really nice materials and looks like something that I will enjoy holding.
It's got the girth you want to have in your hands.
Yes.
It's got a heft. There's a heft.
You got it, yeah.
Yeah,
Really
it is a
needs
little
to
bit
have
heavier.
something.
It is a little bit heavier than DualShock 3.
Needs to have the offset analog sticks, though.
I am
It's
disappointed about that.
complete,
For sure.
complete and utter
You know,
Garbage.
if you want a good time, listen to people on podcasts who have that opinion. Try to explain with some sort of fact or science why that is better, because the mental gymnastics that they will go to explain why offset sticks are better, instead of just saying, I prefer the 360 controller, which is a perfectly fine opinion to have.
Legitimate.
Yeah.
When
Don't try to bullshit me.
When you hold your hands
Don't bullshit me.
naturally, in a symmetrical fashion, the left thumb tends to want to move upward,
That's science,
whereas
Mike. Look it up.
the right
That's
thumb
science, yeah.
tends to want to move down, and it's the way that the bone structure in the hands is configured, and it goes back to prehistoric times when
Cave paintings, really. You'll see
when
it.
we were hunting with our bows, because you had to hold your thumb up to grip the bow.
There are no prehistoric times, Phil. The Earth is 3,000 years old. Thank you.
Oh,
Good night.
Right.
From the great
Sorry.
state of Utah.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go plant some dinosaur bones. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. New controller looks awesome.
Does.
Yes, it does.
All right. Let's do this one from hacker alias C. Tornquist, who says, will Vita reach its full potential with the support of the PS4? How many of you are day one purchasers based on the promises of Sony?
If it's $700, I'm not day one.
Same here.
Price and games. Always
Price and
price and
games.
games.
I'm with Mike
Price and games.
on the price and games, not on the 3,000-year-old Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that the Vita reaches its full potential with it. I like the Vita's current condition, but
You mean the one with
on
no
games,
games
though.
anybody wants to play?
Oh.
But
So
if,
Or the
if
one
they
where
can-
Japan gets a price drop and America gets shit on?
I already own one, so that doesn't really help me all that
That's
much.
true. That's true.
I got a free copy of Alien Breed, so deal with that.
That's let the punishment fit the crime.
and
Wow.
a $5 bonus credit for doing so.
Hey, who else got their $10 from Sony?
I got mine.
I
didn't get-
didn't.
I didn't either. How the fuck did you
Question for you,
I
Mike.
didn't.
Did
Yes.
you answer the Facebook invitation?
I didn't know there was a Facebook invitation,
you
so I'm
didn't.
going to say no.
See, that was my theory, but
Actually-
apparently that was wrong.
Hey, Stuart,
Mhm.
did they send you a notice or something to tell you that you got?
It's in your messages on your PS3 if you got it.
I did
didn't
not
it.
get it.
Now, see, I think I may have gotten it, but I didn't get a message because do you guys know about the whole Alien Breed thing that happened last week?
No.
No.
Okay, so when
Apparently that whole thing went over our heads.
apparently
You were making a reference to something.
I was making an actual reference. Hi, Finn.
He looks really happy.
He's smiling at mommy over there. Yeah, hi, mommy. But okay, here, hon. You take him. I got to tell a story.
All right.
This is,
Yeah.
this is
10
Yeah,
seconds
gotta
till they start
set in.
screaming.
Serious
I gotta get
business.
An old man
Gotta
is
get my-
talking.
Gotta get my pants off for
Quiet,
this one.
everyone.
Okay. No,
It's a nice
so
Wreck-It Ralph shirt,
Gotta
by the
get
way.
your jammies on.
thank you. You like that?
Yeah, I do.
You like that? I got that from Disney Animation Studios when I
might-
went there to see early footage of Wreck-It Ralph
Hmm.
for this magazine I used to work at
Games
That
media
I-
is corrupt.
that I killed. Yep.
They're all on the take.
And this shirt is the reason why I give Wreck-It Ralph 2 thumbs up. It's a terrible, terrible film, but the
All right, tell your
shirt
story.
is. You know what? Tell your face.
Alien bread.
Alien Bread,
Yes.
yeah.
So last
Alien
week
Breed Colonial Marines.
on
Ugh.
last week.
How do you make a shitty game worse? Just add Gearbox.
Oh my goodness! Last week on the PSN, when it was first updated, there was a bunch of games. You know, Alien Breed was one, like Rayman 3 HD, and
Oh, I heard about this.
yeah, like a handful of other games were listed as free downloads.
Mhm.
So I popped on the PSN to download what was some I forget the name, the free game that went up last week. some free game went up last week though. So
Closure?
Yes.
Closure was one, but then there was another.
Vanquish.
Yeah, Vanquish was
Vanquish.
the one,
Yes,
the Platinum Games one. So I went on to download that, and I was going through. Oh, Closure's free. I'll download that, and I saw Alien Breed on there for free, so I clicked the download that as well because it's free. Why not? And then as soon as I clicked on that, I get a little notice saying, "Okay, we just charged you $8 for this, or whatever it was."
Yikes.
Oh, so it wasn't actually free. It was just,
No, yeah,
Oh.
all of these, there was maybe half a dozen games or so that were supposed to be discounted for PlayStation Plus members, but for the first few minutes or half hour or whatever it was, they showed up as free. But
Wow.
when you clicked on them, the free button actually charged you the money. So, of course, people started complaining about it online. A bunch of people had taken pictures of their screen showing the free button on there. And so then it turned into a procedure where Sony had to go through their system and weed out, who actually ended
The
up
liars.
downloading. Yeah. So, and eventually, and it happened for me today, as they credited my account for
That's good.
the
All right.
for the $8. But you know what? And here's why I'm thinking I got my $10. After I got the, hey, we credited your account for the money. You get to keep the games, of course. And then I went and looked in my wallet, and suddenly I had like $18 in my wallet. So
Huh.
Oh, okay.
I guess I
Maybe they
did. I guess I
Maybe I
did.
gotta check my wallet then.
I have to
But,
check my wallet too then.
But then
Damn.
they also, for the people who ended up getting charged for these supposedly free games, they also gave an extra $5 credit to their
Oh,
account
that's
as
nice.
well. So it's like,
Okay.
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 Which is great because Star Wars Pinball comes out next week.
I think you should feel bad. I think accepting their offer of free games is just as evil as using ad block on your favorite gaming blogs.
Well, let me just say this. Alien Breed, I give a 10 out of 10.
Good.
It is fantastic.
Very good.
In
Yes.
an upcoming fictional issue of GameSpy magazine.
Yes.
One more thing while we're talking about Vita.
Yeah.
CJ,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sly Cooper, the AR stuff.
Sly Cooper, yeah.
I cannot make that work. What am I doing wrong?
What do you mean you can't make it work?
It just doesn't work. It can't ever. The Vita can never find the server.
Huh.
Well, here's what you have to do. You have to, on the PS3, go into your options,
And then,
game options.
yes,
You have to turn on the AR server.
I did that.
And then your system has to be on the same Wi-Fi network as your Vita.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
And
How many Wi-Fi networks do you think he has in his house?
What are you driving at exactly?
Saying take it off your exclusive porn Wi-Fi network,
That's right.
But it's faster.
your POV video server.
Then I have no idea why.
Okay.
Works
So
for me.
apparently a bunch of people are having trouble with it, but you weren't, and I thought that maybe
Yeah.
you just figured it out, but now I know you just stumbled ass backwards into functionality. So,
Exactly. That's exactly
all right,
correct.
thanks for your help.
Tease him all you want, but you just asked him for tech support. So what does
I
that
did.
make you?
I'm just hey.
It's going to cost you $699 US. All right, let's wrap up with this one.
Yeah.
This one from Carrie.
Jeez. This one from Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher writes. Yep.
All right, this one
How
from
does she
Rich
type
Brad.
with a mouthful of cheese whiz? That's what I want to know.
Wait, what? How would that impede you?
I don't know.
That's what I wanted. I mean,
I don't know.
I get that you were going for the joke there, but
That was the joke.
Oh, really?
Mhm. It's Weird Al-esque.
That was just about as funny as the Blizzard announcement at the PS4 reel.
Oh.
Humorous. All right,
Who's
Hagarilis.
winning at the Oscars right now?
Who cares?
Greg, how come you don't have your TV in the background
Yeah.
live streaming the Oscars?
Cease and desist letters.
Yeah, you can't simulcast that without the express written consent of the Motion Picture Association of America.
Of Hollywood.
Hollywood, California, yay.
I don't think the MPAA controls the Oscars, as it is a television broadcast and not an actual motion
How about that
picture.
final tweet? Just saying.
All right, accurately as Rich Brad 38 asks, looking back, what was your favorite PS3 exclusive?
See, Greg and I did the same joke there. People watching on the video screen will get a kick out of that.
What was that?
Go ahead and read the tweet again.
No.
Go on, come on. Just go ahead. Just a little bit.
I already got it. I got it. All right.
And we're not going to explain it for anyone who listened to the audio podcast.
Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube.
That's right.
See, this is the content you get. The extra content you get.
Yep.
If you watch
Content.
YouTube somewhere.
You may have to
See
look
that
at four
joke.
profoundly ugly people, but you'll get a little extra comedy here and there. At least I'm
Right.
shrouded in darkness today.
Favorite PS3 exclusive?
Like I'm sitting in front of the sun.
Aw.
Favorite PS3 exclusive? Wow.
Red Dead Redemption.
That's not the...
The answer is like Uncharted 2.
I only have
Uncharted 3.
3 over 2.
2, I said 2, yeah.
Yeah, 2 is the better one.
Yeah, you're right. 2.
Jeez.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, they've had a ton of really good exclusives. This
I know what
this
Mike's
time.
gonna say.
Yeah, you already know
Yeah.
my answer, and let me just offer a preemptive fuck you.
Mod Nation Racers.
Journey?
Sure. Well, Journey's been
Journey
there you
is
go.
a
Journey is
very
really good.
solid answer.
Some really good
That's
stuff,
true.
right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what
Motorstorm, Apocalypse,
Yeah.
Gran Turismo 5. Very good games.
Man,
very,
Gran
very
Turismo
good
5
games.
is freaking awesome.
You know what?
That
I'm
game-
gonna throw Ratchet and Clank
Crack
in
in time.
Crack in Time.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a good
Totally.
game.
Yes, it is.
Heavy Rain, even, just because it's interesting.
Just for
No.
the experience, yeah.
You can go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Papo Yo.
Yeah. Papo Yo, very good game. Very emotional game.
Yeah.
Nino Kuni, maybe.
Nino Kuni.
Nino Kuni. I'm enjoying Nino Kuni quite a bit.
All right.
Hey, I broke down and
Well, there
bought
you go.
Fire Emblem. I know we're not talking about games we played this week, but
Yeah,
I
I know, what the hell?
totally picked up Fire Emblem just because
You found it in a store.
I found it at a Fry's Electronics had it.
You found a bunch of them.
Yeah,
Cool,
there's
lucky
they had
picture.
like a dozen copies.
Further proof that no one buys video games at Fry's Electronics anymore.
You're
Man,
a
I
lucky
don't know.
man.
Yeah, it's
Next to all those copies of what was that?
Enemy
Perfect
Zero.
Dark Zero.
yeah.
Ugh.
Although you know,
Ugh.
all the
Looking back,
the
what was
steel
your
book.
favorite 360 game? Perfect Dark Zero.
You know what? Favorite Xbox 360 exclusive Crackdown. Without hesitation, Crackdown.
That's
Yep.
probably just about.
Probably it. Yep.
It's between
Yeah.
that and Alan Wake for me.
Alan Wake isn't a
Oh, Alan
360
Wake.
exclusive.
But that's
That's well
Hey,
on
hey,
console. On console,
So
I'm not-
splitting hairs now.
PC, whatever.
yeah, boy.
Yeah,
If
PC,
it's not on the
whatever.
Mac, it doesn't
Nobody,
exist.
Yeah.
nobody should buy. House
No,
of Dead
no.
Ninjas
Please go on Steam and
right?
Yeah.
Resident Ninja.
Touche.
Yeah.
Douche.
Ooh. I like the sound of that. That was real good there, Mike. Hey, Mikey. Hey, Mikey. You did a real good job singing CJ there.
Alrighty, that's our show for this week. Thank you
Oh,
very much for
CJ.
listening.
That's a great outro you got going there. You should keep
Yeah.
that going.
Oh my God,
If you
make
have
it
a
stop.
question or comment for us, you can direct all of that to at P1 Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com, where you'll find our email addresses, various blog entries, Generation 16 episodes.
Eventually.
And you
Yeah.
also got your Welco He Next T-Level blogs
Yes.
on there, which
Just
are
did one
have
on
been great.
Jeopardy.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that a game made back when Alex Trebek still had the mustache?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good. Classic Trebek.
Classic Trebek. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't cotton to this newfangled Trebek with his
Handed
hairless
his
lip.
second favorite son.
Who's the first?
I don't know. Jesse Ventura.
Rick Moranis, you fool.
Oh, or him.
Jeez Louise. Rick
John Candy?
Moranis.
No love for John Candy at all?
John Candy's great.
Martin Short?
John Candy's great.
Oh, and you'll also find a message board there where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners. And the PlayStation 4, you can discuss that too.
You could. Because where else on the internet are you going to have a chance to discuss?
Yeah, really. No one else is
Nowhere.
talking about it. So.
Nowhere.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting playeronepodcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99.
Cheap.
To pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application, gives you one-touch communication with us via the voicemails, the emails, the Twitters, what have you. I have our past every episode ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone telephone users, Player One Podcast iPhone application will be your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right over there on the Amazon Android Marketplace. You can also check us out on the Stitcher. And
Yeah.
you can catch
Stitcher
us.
Radio, there's a link from playeronepodcast.com where you can listen to us on Stitcher.
Well, you don't trust people to.
If you,
What in the
Okay.
world is
Or
Mike doing?
download the app. Whoa.
Mike is
Mike's
He's
foot.
showing us
rubbing
his shoe.
foot.
And
Have
he's
you
not
ever
wearing
seen the
pants.
bottom of a Mike Phillips's shoe?
Well,
Bam! There it
Bam!
is.
That's all Microsoft needs to do.
More avatar feet.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta fucking bring back Kudos to
Yeah.
Oda. That's the only man that can save you now.
That's true. You can also check us out live on most weeks on the YouTube, where we're doing our video podcasts.
Yeah.
So follow our Twitter account to find out when we will be doing our next live broadcast. CJ, oh, my son is choking on a goldfish.
And you can listen.
Huh?
You know,
What?
we archive the video shows.
Oh
as
yes,
well.
yes. So you can go
Watch
back
them on
and
playeronepodcast.com or YouTube/playeronepodcast.
or brazzers.com.
That was not what I expected.
Just need to slap the little logo down there in the corner of our CJ really liked that one.
CJ's
Mike-
dying. Look at
I
him.
know. Mike is too. He's just less vocal about it.
I mean, I thought it was funny, but
Really.
How unexpected was that?
CJ,
Yeah. Yeah.
thank you for putting this foursome together.
Anytime.
I bet that's what I've heard. Stuart,
yo,
thank you.
thank you.
Mike,
This was my first time doing it in the air hole. Just so you know.
well, you took it like a champ. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yikes.
Feel good about it.
Yes. And
Getting
I guess
hot
we'll-
in here.
yeah, take it off, CJ. Oh my goodness, ladies.
They too.
Well, CJ used to be a swimmer, so he's used to
That's
shaving
true.
the body,
I
right?
got none of that left.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did that?
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
And my name kind of sounds like Michael Phelps, so
That's true.
Michael Phelps.
I have a great body as well.
Oh. Okay. Next week,
Next
folks.
week. Let's do it.
Toodaloo, folks.
We'll talk about games next week.
Fare thee well.
Probably.